House of Representatives has approved the 1.48 trillion naira 2025 budget for Rivers State, but removed 35 billion naira earmarked for CCTV, gunboats, and surveillance contracts. The decision followed recommendation from an ad hoc committee chaired by Majority Leader Julius Ihonvere, who emphasized redirecting funds to more critical sectors. During Tuesday's plenary, lawmakers reallocated over 30 billion naira from controversial security votes to projects aimed at infrastructure, education, healthcare, and agriculture. Concerns were raised over allocations like 24 billion naira for government house CCTV and 30 billion naira for gunboat procurement. President Bola Tinubu had earlier forwarded the budget to the National Assembly for urgent approval to stabilize governance in Rivers State. The final budget includes 256.42 billion naira for personnel, 162 billion naira for overhead, and over 1 trillion naira for capital projects. And what do you make of this story?
I'll start by looking at the statement of Mr. President, forwarding the budget to National Assembly for urgent approval to fast-track governance in Rivers State. To me, sometimes I look at some issues differently. Starting with the amount that House of Reps, the ad hoc committee on Rivers emergency rule, prescribed for the Assembly to pass or to cut off 35 billion. 24 billion and 30 billion. When you put them together, will it give you 35 billion? So I think that there is more to this. If only we can have the clearer, the complete document for this legislative work that had taken place before approval of this budget. Because it's like you are doing us pimpo here and there. You remove 35 billion, you cut 24 billion from security vote and shifted it to infrastructural development, education, and all that. And one would be wondering, where are we driving to? Now, if you approve this budget and you mention the amounts you mentioned, how sure will Rivers people be that indeed this is what happened, apart from what we see on the pages of newspaper? Because if you are telling us that you have removed so and so amount, we need to see it reflect on the amount that you have approved. Because we are still talking about 1.48 trillion. We are still discussing about 1.48 trillion. And if you have removed all this, we need to see it reflect on the figure. And not only reflecting on the figure, reflecting on the basic budget implementation. We want to see these things at work in Rivers State. Not just about maybe mentioning it in the papers or discussing it on air, and things will continue going the way there. Because if you tell me you have removed so and so amount, in fact, initially when I saw the news, I clapped for the assembly members. I said, this is how it's supposed to be. Not just that anything that comes to you, swallow, hook, line, and thinker. You should be able to look at, because when we discussed about this 24 billion for CCTV, every Rivers man that heard about it frowned, except those who felt that, this is my man, this is where I stand. I don't need to talk against him. That even when his actions are telling negatively on you, you still stand by him because he's your man. Apart from such people, every other Rivers person, in fact, frowned at that 24 billion for CCTV because we didn't see any reason for it. Now, telling us that you are mark 30 billion for gunboat and things like that, we frowned at it. Gunboat for what? Gunboat for what? You came and said that you have restored peace. What are you still buying gunboat for? And the suspended governor had provided all these things for the law enforcement agencies, and you are still coming to on the same thing. So I said no. And so many other well-meaning Nigerians frowned at it and said no and condemned it. So if now the House of Assembly, as a House of Reps, have come to say no, we'll have to cut it off, I clap for them. But let it be that it reflects on the true document that the Rivers State government will run with. And I also want to plead that the president who is asking them to fast track the passage of that bill to forestall governance in Rivers State, let him know that Rivers people know that there is no governance in Rivers State. Because the man you place there as the sole administrator, the governor of Rivers State, is not the people's choice. He is not the people, the person people voted for.
All right.
And no matter the way they push it here, push it there, someday history will replay this game that just happened in Rivers State, and we may use it to point to somewhere in Southwest where it will affect Mr. President, who is from Southwest, that is dealing this mercilessly to the Southerners and Southeasterners. Because I believe that what he did here affected even the neighboring states.
I think bringing ethnicity or
no, it's not issue of ethnicity
into it. Hold on, will be a great disservice to the president when you say he dealt wickedness to South and South.
Do you know that we
giving it an ethnic coloring?
Now let
tribal coloring.
Let me paint this to us.
Might not be fair on him.
Now look at it.
Because in the first instance,
hold
on. In the first instance, it was not even the statement of the president. It was the statement of the court that there is no government in Rivers State.
We understand.
And again, what the difference between the military rule and democracy is the presence of the legislature.
Yeah.
And it was on record that the governor ran the state without a legislature, without a House of Assembly. It was on record. So what we would have said is probably we had a civilian governor administering military rule. Exactly. So would you say that there was governance in Rivers State?
No, let me say this.
So when you now bring in ethnic coloration, when the law has failed, constitution has failed, court judgment has failed in Rivers State, what would you have the president do? So considering then that we are already tilting towards, we are already in a state of anarchy in Rivers State. We are already tilting to breakdown of law and order. But then, let me have Chizzy, you still have your say, but I want Chizzy to speak at this point. Chizzy, what do you make of this story?
Well, let me first congratulate the Assembly for that passage. Of course, that part of the issue.
The House of Rep.
That's the Assembly, the National Assembly. I don't call them the House of Reps. I've always said that their definition within the Constitution is that they are Assembly of Rivers State, because that's what the Constitution demands. For instance, if you do
legislate for Rivers State.
Yes, to legislate for Rivers State.
Okay.
So that's whom they are. I was even thinking they should be sitting here, not even there. But maybe to reduce costs and and all of that. If not, they should ideally be sitting here. Remember that I've always said that the governor, upon thinking that the other legislators weren't, that the first thing he would have done was to, I'm talking about the former governor now, was to write the National Assembly calling for those who legislate, because he can't continue to lead us without a legislator. Like you've just said during your interaction with Mze, that we knew that they were in the government. If there is a word called sole administrator, it started way back 2 years ago in Rivers State. Sim was the sole administrator of Rivers State, because after being elected, when the legislators was suspended, that is the center of democracy. If you remove that, then you are running, because we didn't have commissioners, because there were no assembly to screen them. But I don't want us to go back and forth, what happened then. And so the president declared this. When people begin to talk about why would the president declare that, and I asked, this declaration has been made, but it's just that somebody else was there. And so you can't be leading until there is something. And I'm sure peace is here. And so we need to begin to speak in that light. And so to talk about the budget, before you even begin to talk about the budget, we need to define what a budget is. Budget is an expected expenditure. Also a expected income. It's not like you have money stashed somewhere and so they're pulling this money to somewhere. They're just expecting that, okay, within this period at which this budget will be operational, this amount of money or S amount of money might come. Sometimes the money comes far more than that. Sometimes it becomes surplus, and sometimes it comes shorter than that. So it's not something. It's not sacrosanct. It can change within. But the only thing that I do not frown also, if you were going to have a 24 billion in CCTV or a gunboat, if you haven't been in government, I mean, if you have asset government, you won't understand the importance of that thing. But what I fear these days, whether because of the information bill or something, how security votes, security issues such as CCTV and gunboat will be a subject of public discourse. It was supposed to be carved under a tin and kept, because if you are going to tell me the water side that you are going to buy a gunboat, you're also asking me to do the antidote to gunboat, that you're also getting me ready. It's like having CCTV in your house and then, or having dog and then saying beware of dog. You're not telling the armed robber, look, there's a dog there. You think you are trying to shoot fear into them. You're already telling them to do the otherwise. If not, I would have said, if you remove it, and again, the reason why I support the removal is that even the civil administrator who proposed it right now has a short span to stay, so he couldn't have executed that, because I know what that CCTV means. It's not like CCTV in your personal residence. Just go and take a survey of a 3-bedroom flat, for instance, in the compound, and then do a CCTV on that. I'm not talking about the CCTV that wherein you just come to your listen and watch. CCTV where the principal can watch from anywhere and everywhere. They just go and check whether.
So are you saying that the River State Government House does not have up-to-date CCTV cameras?
I will not say that authoritatively, because all I want to question is they have said, for instance, for the gunboat, I'm using the one he mentioned. He said the former governor, suspended governor, has provided all of that. I wonder, because if that is the case, I mean, why would this man bring it forth again? Because to having provided that and somebody else is bringing back. But I can tell you that, number one, there are so many things you find that are not around government that is laughable. You say, what are these people thinking? Why are they not thinking? Why did they think towards this? Or if it was, there are not updated ones, that could carry the present reality, because a lot of things are happening. I by the grace of God, during one of the governor, I used to be in government and I was like policy intelligence officer. I know that there are so many lacunas, security wise, that should have updation been provided. But having said that, I will say that the passage of the budget is a welcome development. You notice that part of what they called fun at was that we didn't have a budget, and it was a little bit like I said, I don't want to go back, to begin to look at government running without a budget. Today we have a budget, and the government is a continuum. Whether this solar administrator ends his regime, and I will believe he will in the next few months, 1 or 2 months, the governor will come and continue with the budget, because government is a continuum, and of course make some adjustment, because this budget in itself will elapse by December 31st. Don't forget. And so the governor will want to say certain things about the governor. If he feels otherwise, represent certain aspect of it,
for a
supplementary budget. Or you can even readjust the budget, of course, yes, to the assembly, because they have the right to so do. What we are saying is that let them come, let our pensioners be paid. Let us see, so that this solar administrator will not even have excuse. There was this sage, Awolowo, that said that he was looking for just one day, to be president. And so if you have stayed for this amount of months, we also need to know what you are doing, So don't stop giving excuse with the budget. Now the budget is here, and this budget will be released in months. In this budget, there are things that must be released in months. There must be things, and of course, if you give a contract that we know that this contract is overbloated, don't forget that part of these infrastructures are those infrastructures that are already ongoing, that can be funded, because there are funding things that is done. And again, that's where I think government should adjust. There was something Ian Wike, His Excellency Ian Wike, the Minister for FCT, said one time, and I take a cue on it. And I think Fashola also gave this thing on it. What was it? Wike said that what he has noticed is, if you give a contract for now, and the contract is going to stay for 3 years, for instance, and the amount for that contract is 1 billion. He said, if you as government wants to begin to pay, in line with budget as the time goes, that sometimes you see the people begin to present variations, not because they cost it, but because again the fluctuations in our price system, is also there. That what he feels he should do is take money from a lump and then give them. You know what I mean? That saves money. That saves money because you will never have
as long as you have been paid, you are expected to deliver.
So
price fluctuation is no longer.
It's no longer an issue. No wonder you see. I give that to him. No wonder you see that. Look at Wike's budget. Look at Wike's project. Anywhere as local government chairman, I am not of Wike. I'm as local government chairman. There is something I told people. Even when we were against Wike in APC, then I used to say that you can accuse Wike of any and everything. But what you cannot accuse Wike is doing a project and doing a quality project.
All right.
It's not possible anywhere in the world.
All right, very well.